right, there you go. Now you should be able to see me.
There you are. All right, we got Coach Venables. All right, Coach, thanks for joining us today. Sorry, everybody, we're a little bit delayed.
Everybody hear me?
I
Yes.
think we're good. Yep.
Yeah.
We can hear you.
All right. Good evening. Good to see everybody.
Yep.
Happy
Good to see you too,
signing
Coach.
day. Just wanted to plug in with you here. We get started. Just how incredibly excited. Boy, that was a race. That's been a sprint here for the last couple of months. And our support staff, our recruiting staff, and all of our coaches just did an amazing job of pulling this class together. Can't say enough how much I appreciate the early signees and what their loyalty and commitment to Oklahoma mean to certainly myself and our staff and our program. They've been wonderful getting them adjusted and acquainted with one another, and certainly us. It's been a few weeks since we started with them earlier in January. The that have shown up for the last week or so have gotten plugged in well, and from Dylan Gabriel, Tyler Guyton, Jeffrey Johnson, Jonah Lalou, McCade Mator, Trey Morrison, Daniel Parker, TD Roof, and Keanu Walker. It's been a great group of guys, both sides of the ball, both lines of scrimmage. Certainly have addressed some needs in our secondary. Certainly have with Dylan jumping, into the family, if you will, has been just wonderful from a leadership standpoint. Has really grabbed the bull by the horns in regards to connecting with the whole football team, not just the offensive side, and has done a wonderful job of doing what you would expect a guy at that position to do, lead the right way. So been really pleased with that. Again, all the mid-years, they've really plugged in incredibly well, have done a tremendous job. No surprise how well they have adjusted, both academically and socially, and workouts, really just jumped in, self-driven, group of guys, just polished with the maturity of the mid-years. And then again, finishing it off today with, again, hitting the secondary, the defensive line, just ecstatic. We're not finished yet. We've got a couple more spots. We're going to push forward here throughout the rest of the semester and look to continue to strengthen, a couple of positions where we see fit when we find the right guys. But really excited about how we put the exclamation mark on it today with, again, Gentry speed, toughness, jumper. So really, like literally. So his mama sent me a picture of him. So he's born to be a Sooner, no pun intended. And as well as Jamarian Bird, another defensive back from Ocala, Florida, that can play all 5 positions in the secondary. Again, adjusting up front, with pass rushers, incredibly important to find length and speed. And so did it with, from coast to coast, literally. Grayson Holton from San Diego, a defensive tackle that really can play all 4 positions up front, ultra athletic, never left the field. Just a tremendous athlete that his best football is in front of him. And R. Mason Thomas, a back-to-back state champion, edge rusher, outside linebacker, and really excited about his focus and his maturity and his experience coming from a winning culture. And then got our fingers crossed here as well. I think we'll finish up here hopefully later on tonight. But 29 guys, and just really couldn't be more excited with the group of guys that we have. And again, covered really every position team goes to, fortifying our depth charts and reloading across the board on both sides of the football, both lines of scrimmage, and a trigger man quarterback, and both Nick Evers and as well as Dylan Gabriel. So, and I know we talked about Nick earlier, but again, two young men that are winners, come from great families, just tremendous people off the field, natural leaders, and can both, dual threat quarterbacks that can do a lot, let alone spin the ball. So really, really excited about the transfers from an experience standpoint. Again, the positions that we looked at, again, the lines of scrimmage, at quarterback, in the secondary, when it really felt that we needed to find some guys with some experience that could come in and have a chance to compete, day one, be able to, again, fill some needs there in the short term to allow some other players to grow up and continue to mature. So really, again, just couldn't be more happy with how, again, our guys finished. And the guys that we wanted, really couldn't be happier from that standpoint. Our hit rate was outstanding. I'm thinking we might have had one guy that we brought in on an official visit that we didn't get here the last 3 weeks. So that's a good hit rate for us. So I'm gonna open it up to questions.
All right, thank you, Coach. Yeah, just so you're aware, your connection doesn't seem to be the best. We heard most of that, but hopefully it improves here or holds on as we go forward. So we'll get into questions. We'll take questions about the recruiting class and incoming transfers. Let's go to Eric Bailey. Eric.
Brent, thanks for your time. It's nice to see you brought the snow back to the Midwest, man. Hey, wanted to ask you, can you hear me okay?
I'm not sure he's got his volume up.
Can you hear me okay, Brent?
He's working on it here.
Okay.
Coach, can you hear? Sorry, Coach is not in Norman. Can you hear, Coach? Bear with us here. Sorry.
See,
Can you hear us, Coach?
I can hear you. Yep.
All right, let's try this again. Eric.
Okay, Brent, you got me?
Got you.
All right. Hey, wanted to ask you, how important was it to find a quarterback of Dylan's caliber when Caleb Williams announced he was entering the portal? And when did you completely sever ties with Caleb moving forward with your quarterback situation?
Well, I mean, I thought it was very important to send a message to our guys that, you know, if a guy goes into the portal, my assumption is that there's something they're not happy with where they're at. That's what I'm assuming. I mean, who wouldn't assume that? So my job is to make sure that I, you know, have an allegiance and a loyalty to that locker room. I do what's in the best interest of that locker room, our coaching staff, certainly the University of Oklahoma. And so having, you know, known that this was a possibility for well over a week, going up to the, you know, the announcement date of Caleb going into the portal, we were ready to respond. And regardless of whether Caleb had decided to not go into the portal, we needed to address our quarterback situation, only having a couple of guys on scholarship there. So, you know, that was well known to everybody that's needs to be in the know. And but we were just ready to respond, you know, if we were put in that position. So you know, Jeff had done a good job of just communicating, hey, this of things that might go down. If it goes down, you know, we got to be ready to again respond. So you know, and then in regards to Caleb, you know, obviously our intentions were to allow him some autonomy. He didn't choose me. He didn't choose Coach Levy. There's you know, part of it's understandable that, hey, you know, I need to maybe reevaluate things, and, you know, you could probably evaluate it without maybe going out into the portal. I think, you know, being in the circles and knowing, you know, what other people's situations are, whether it's scheme or whether it's their situation at quarterback. I think you probably have a good idea. You and I both could go find out, you know, what we need to know without maybe going into the portal. So again, to me, once you get into the portal, there's a line that you cross. And again, my assumption is that I have to assume not that you're coming back. I got to assume that you're not going to be here once you make that decision. So, you know, I think after a few days, it probably we didn't have the kind of communication I think is that would be necessary that would allow us to continue to feel good about an opportunity moving forward. The communication wasn't where it needed to be. So I don't know exactly how many days, but at some point in time, move forward.
Thank you, Brent. Appreciate it.
Okay, let's go to Ryan Aber of the Oklahoman.
You got it.
Yeah, Brent, good talking to you again. Wanted to ask you about Gentry Williams. What was that process like, both leading into the December signing period and over the last few weeks as you try to hold on to him, sort of the unique way that all that played out? And also, how do you see him fitting into this defense?
Yeah, that's a great question. Gentry and his family have just been wonderful from the get-go. Like any transition, coaching change, brand new staff, there's a little bit of, I mean, they have some questions. There's some apprehension and whatnot, but from the get-go, he let his allegiance be known. And in my opinion, we had to go out of our way to screw it up. And he just wanted to meet everybody. He wanted to hear the vision for, you know, what we had for him, both defensively, relationally, you know, who we obviously were going to hire as his position coach. I was able to give him a little bit of insight, but until he had a chance to be able to meet Jay, I think that was the final piece. Never at any time that I feel that we were close to losing his commitment. I think that his allegiance and his loyalty to the University of Oklahoma were known virtually the whole time. Again, my feeling is that we had to go out of our way just to screw it up from a relationship standpoint, a communication standpoint. This is where he's always wanted to be. And I think Jay was the final piece, and as well as meeting Coach Roof and the rest of the defensive staff. And but the whole experience has been wonderful. He's been one of the easiest guys to recruit that I've recruited. His family, again, just terrific people, great mother and father and little sister. And in regards to how using him, again, I think he is one of those unique guys too that can play everywhere in the secondary. A lot of position flexibility, but we have a need at cornerback, and he's got, again, length and instincts and ball skills, toughness. I liked how they used him there at Booker T. Did a great job of using him a variety of ways, and everywhere from putting him at corner to putting him in the box to at safety to blitzing him. Played some linebacker. He did a little bit of everything, kind of a Swiss Army knife, as well as return kicks and whatnot, but and played some receiver. So just a terrific all-around player, got a great skill set. But the best part of Gentry is just the type of young man that he is. He's got character. He's a leader. He's tremendous work ethic. He's a grinder. He loves preparation, and he's going to be a great teammate. Very selfless guy.
Yeah, appreciate it, Brent. Have a good one.
Okay, we'll go to Jesse Crittenden of the Norman Transcript.
Hi, Brent. I appreciate your time today. I just wanted to ask you about Grayson Holton and getting him on board. Just over the last few weeks, what did that process look like? What did those conversations look like? And when did you feel confident you could get him on board? And what do you think he can contribute to the team?
Well, it was, I think when there was a coaching change at Oregon, we immediately, maybe it was late at night or early in the morning when that happened, that we looked at their commits, and some California guys, and there was maybe a defensive back and Grayson himself, and we reached out, had immediate response. I think there might be he had some familiarity with Oklahoma, maybe from a family or friends or a coach. And so it's been constant communication. We're just waiting through the dead period to get him on campus. And, but I thought our defensive coaches did a wonderful job of building a relationship with he and his family and his high school coach. And very personable, real likable young guy, got a lot of life, a lot of energy. And when we just immediately clicked when he showed up on his visit. And I thought, again, through the course of a couple of 2 to 3 weeks there, we're trying to get to know him, really build a great relationship with him, have a lot of things that things that he's looking for from an experience point, educational standpoint. And so it was really, his needs met our needs and vice versa. And just a wonderful young guy, full of life. And I think he just came and he felt very, very comfortable. And his parents saw the things that they're going to send him, across multiple states. They saw the things that they needed to see, that they know that, again, they're going to pass the baton, and we're going to, take care of him in all the right ways. And so that's really, he clicked with our players immediately, just a real big personality. And again, a tremendous athlete. And again, as you watch him, he never left the field, played both sides of the ball, both tight end, and played some offensive line and defensive line. So he's got great durability and tremendous endurance as well for a big guy. A lot of big guys don't have that kind of endurance, and he can run all day.
Appreciate it, Brent.
You bet.
To Jason Kersey with The Athletic.
Hey, Brent, I wanted to ask you, on early signing day, you mentioned, your relationship with Dabo and how that was going to affect how you handled Clemson commits and things like that. So I'm wondering, did you have any pause about taking Jaron Kanak when you did? And I guess I'll extend that to also ask you about Todd Bates and some of the other staffers you brought with you from Clemson.
I think Jaron's situation was very unique. Again, one time, I was his main non-normal when a guy hasn't ever been on campus, as opposed to a guy that's maybe within arm's reach and's been on campus 3 or 4 times. his first time on campus and only time on campus prior to his official visit. I was really, again, the only person he had any kind of contact with. So right, wrong, or indifferent, I think he had a different level of comfort. And then when I took the job, he was a little bit uneasy. I tried to reassure him that Clemson's still the great place that he fell in love with. And I don't think he felt comfortable at the end of the day, and expressed that to Coach Sweeney. I told him that I didn't have a spot for him. If he was going to decommit, again, just feel strongly about again, just trying to do things the right way, and from a loyalty and ethical standpoint. And so I think I believe he conceded. You have to ask him, but I think he conceded, and he was set, but he wasn't sitting in the right place. His mother, I guess, she didn't feel right about it. Reached out to Coach Sweeney. I think they had some conversation. I'm not sure exactly, but and I think he gave his blessing to be able to look really anywhere. So obviously, as we all know, visits to Oklahoma prior to committing to Clemson. So a little bit of uniqueness. I know it's whatever it is, 4.5 hours away, within arm's reach, a little bit closer and more convenient. He's a very connected, family driven, young man. And Coach Sweeney, from a timing standpoint, just wanted to make sure that, there wasn't a lot of drama surrounding the early signing day. So I think he had agreed that he would, just sit that one. And this young, great fit for us as well. In regards to, you asked about Todd Bates, anything in particular, or?
Well, I was just sort of extending that out to the same general question about bringing people with you and
Yeah,
sort of yeah.
For me, I've been there for a decade. People that have been in years that were connected. Those are very strong relationships, personally, and certainly from a colleague standpoint and a job standpoint. We're able to intimately know each other, how we think, how we act, how we're going to respond, what our answers are, whether it's the head of our house. It's not just workforce. And, for me, if, heck, I offered Wesley Goodwin, a job that he'd never been on the field. And he was my right-hand man, but it was a promotion for him. And everybody I offered, opportunities to were for, promotions, opportunities. It's like, you can't just, you can if you want, but, people have the, autonomy to, go work anywhere, nobody owns anybody, but these were opportunities for people to continue to grow professionally. And, and again, your relationships are your relationships, who like the back of your hand. You don't know everybody. The people you work with for a decade or close to that, are the people that you feel, most comfortable with. But anyway, you feel like you also have a part in, some of the development of those guys too. They're, we grow together organically. And so I think guys looking for other opportunities. It's like when I left Kansas State to go to Oklahoma, and Kansas State was home for me. I just started coaching 3 years. I had great loyalty to Coach Snyder, but I wasn't ready to be the I got all kinds of growth, and I can't stay always home. And I'm be forever indebted for that opportunity. But that's not an act of disloyalty. Sometimes your next move has nothing to do with your last move. It has everything to do with where you're going. And, you just have to move on from where you came from. And that sometimes that's hard because you have real relationships if you're about the right stuff. You know, some people it's all business and that's fine. You know, I've not ever been that way myself. I get completely and totally immersed in it from a relational and a love and a roots, you know, and so those are always difficult decisions because of that. But at the same time, you know, we're all trying to grow in our particular professions. And again, sometimes again, the desires just take us elsewhere. One thing you love about college athletics is the emotion, the intensity, the passion for people in their university, the loyalty. That's like this awesome thing. That's why I'm not really have never been attracted to the NFL, because it's kind of the anti-NFL in many ways. It is all business in the NFL, and not as intimate and not as relational. And but at the same time, those great things that make college athletics such a wonderful thing can also be sometimes painful, you know, and I know hurtful even. People, you know, want to judge you when you leave from one school to the next, thinking that it's an indictment on them. And most of the time, or many times, it has nothing to do with the last place, everything to do with the next place. And I think I could probably, you know, speak to that, but they'd have to, you know, say, you know, speak for themselves. But, you know, it's, you know, so for me, it's that part of it's not personal. When guys are just trying to continue to grow in the profession and making some of those really tough decisions like that's not an easy thing for anybody. But I mean, what is my Rolodex? You know, if it isn't the guys I know intimately, you know, all of it, you know, so that's kind of a byproduct of, you know, as you develop your coaches, you develop your football family, opportunities arise, and that's a good thing. That's a very healthy thing, and for everybody. And so they get a chance to take so many of the great things that you learn, so many of the great things that Coach Sweeney taught all of us, me included. Now he gets a chance to have that tree extended, and you know, people to continue to do things the right way in the profession, and certainly, you know, the Dabo Sweeney way in many ways. We'll all use, you know, so many of the things that we learned from Coach Sweeney, who, in my opinion, is a Hall of Famer in waiting. How can you not, you know, want to take, you know, people that have been a part of that over the last decade plus, and as you build a program, I mean, there's just too much good soil, and but there's plenty of good soil there, trust me. And Coach Sweeney is just so. Anyway, I couldn't be more thrilled with people that have some Clemson ties, and whether it's Coach Roof, who was with us the last year, did a lot of my advanced scouting for me, and or it's, you know, Coach Bates, Coach Chavis, you know, Jacob Maloney, Xavier Brewer, Ryan Carter, amongst others, JP Losman, and their families. Probably remiss in somebody, but with that Turnip Seed, just, you know, again, just terrific people that have wonderful DNA. They're great soil. And, you know, we got to find the right seeds to throw into our guys. And so that's what they'll bring to the table without question.
All right, Coach, we're having a tough time with your connection, missing chunks of your answers. We're going to try one more question here, and hopefully it improves. Let's go to Bob Prisbilla with Sooner Scoop.
Yeah, Brent, I was sort of wondering about the juggling act between the portal and recruiting for the 2022 class. How, just going back and forth, like, did sometimes the portal, finding answers in the portal, did that affect the way you approach January and trying to fill out the rest of the 2022 class?
That's a great question. Obviously, I think the pool of players in the high school area wasn't as deep as far as the probably the quality. And so I was trying to find the most difficult part was finding the right people in the portal that not only can play, but also kind of, again, values align. They're about the right stuff, trying to really get to know them in a very whether it's the same locker room or maybe previous locker rooms, people that maybe had previously been a part of that staff and might be able to find out some information on the transfers for us. And so, again, I thought, again, our coaches did a great job of bridging those gaps. And so I thought it was pretty easy, to be honest. It was really just trying to stay up to date with the portal. As we know, you get your alerts, and here they come across the screen, one after the other, after the other. They had left based on your roster. That was kind of a fun thing to do, I'll be honest. You know, that's a puzzle. It's always very fluid. And but that was kind of a fun challenge, in my opinion, of putting that together. And again, I thought we hit a home run doing so.
Appreciate it,
Hey,
Brent.
Coach, appreciate that. Just because we're having so many problems, and you're probably unaware, but we're having trouble hearing good chunks of your answers. So I think it's probably best we just end this portion of the Zoom right now, and we'll try to figure something out to get you with reporters again here soon. So thank you for joining us, and we'll see you back here in Norman soon.
All right. Appreciate y'all.